In the vast, open expanse of the Zaporozhye region, near the small, battered village of Vasylkivske, the earth is flat and unforgiving. There is no cover here, no tree line to hide behind. For months, this emptiness has served as a chessboard for artillery and drones. But on this day, it became a killing field. What you are looking at is not just another piece of military hardware caught in a crosshair. This is the crown jewel of Western air defense. This is the MIM-104 Patriot PAC-2 system. And high above, it has no idea that it has already been sentenced. A specialized reconnaissance unit, the eyes of Russia's elite Rubicon drone division, has been tracking these vehicles for hours. They have watched the heat signatures cool, watched the crews move, and waited. They are not hunting soldiers, they are hunting the shield itself. The footage we are about to dissect is a masterclass in modern electronic warfare, a story told in 3 strikes, but the debate it has sparked is far more complex than a simple battlefield report. Was this a devastating blow to Ukraine's air defense network, or was the Russian military outsmarted by a clever decoy? To find the truth, we have to look closer than the grainy footage allows. We have to look at the dirt beneath the machines. The Rubicon operators know a fundamental truth of air defense. A missile without guidance is just a metal tube. To dismantle this system, you don't just shoot the guns, you gouge out the eyes. So the first Lancet is not aimed at the launchers, which bristle with visible tubes. It is aimed at the AN/MPQ-53 radar. Watch the footage as it comes in. The radar is operating on its 4 stabilizing legs, lifted off its transport carriage. It is stationary, fixed, and utterly exposed. This is the moment the Russian operator commits. There is no hesitation. The drone strikes true. The radar, the digital brain of the battery, is engulfed. In a single moment, the system that tracks hostile aircraft and guides the interceptor missiles is silenced. The fire spreads across the chassis. The Patriot battery is now blind. But the operation is far from over. A blind battery is a temporary state. If the crews are still alive, they will be scrambling to detach the launchers, to save what can be saved. The Rubicon unit gives them no time to breathe. The first Lancet has barely finished its work when a second Kamikaze drone is already in the air, homing in on the leftmost launcher. The second strike is clinical. The launcher, a vehicle designed to withstand the blast of its own missile launch, is torn apart by the incoming warhead. The footage cuts away as the fire consumes it. And now we arrive at the heart of the controversy. As the third Lancet descends toward the final launcher, the video feed cuts out. We are left with a still frame of the drone just meters above its target. This ambiguity has led to a wave of speculation across military analysis forums. The prevailing theory is that this entire setup was a decoy, a trap, a set of inflatables or wooden mock-ups designed to waste expensive Russian loitering munitions. But if you pause the footage, not at the moment of the strike, but in the moments before, the ground tells a different story. Look at the deployment site. Surrounding these launchers and the radar are deep, rutted tire marks carved into the soil. These are not the shallow impressions of a lightweight decoy trucked in on a flatbed. These are deep, heavy tracks. They speak of immense weight. These vehicles didn't just roll into position, they were maneuvered. The sheer mass required to leave imprints like that is consistent with the weight of a real Patriot launcher, which carries 4 canisters weighing over 700 pounds each. A decoy, built from plywood and aluminum sheeting, would simply not displace the earth in this way. The ground here is a witness, and it testifies to the presence of heavy metal. To understand why this system was vulnerable and why it was likely real, we have to look at the configuration of the hardware itself. Many viewers, accustomed to the modern image of mobile air defense, see a Patriot battery and assume it is a shoot-and-scoot platform, something that fires its missiles and immediately dashes to a new hideout to avoid counter-battery fire. But the Patriot PAC-2, the specific variant we are seeing in this footage, does not operate that way. Look closely at the radar. It is not mounted on a truck cab. It is a standalone array resting on its 4 hydraulic jacks. It has 4 wheels of its own. To move this radar, you need a heavy transport vehicle to hook up to it, lift it, and drag it away. Now, look at the launchers. You can clearly see the wheels are off the ground. They are resting on their 4 stabilizing legs. Like the radar, these launchers are not self-propelled. They are towed assets. They are designed for semi-static defense, to be placed in a position, leveled, wired to the radar, and left to protect a strategic asset like a power grid or a city. This is a system built for holding ground, not for quick redeployment. The shoot-and-scoot tactics that analysts are citing belong to more modern, self-propelled systems like the IRIS-T or the NATO'S. The PAC-2 is a beast of burden. It requires time to set up, time to break down, and time to escape. By the time the crews saw that first reconnaissance drone, the time they needed had already run out. They were sitting ducks, not because of poor training, but because of the inherent logistical weight of the system they were operating. Which brings us back to the third Lancet and the final, silent launcher. The feed cuts to static just before impact. In the world of loitering munition footage, this usually indicates one of 2 things. Either the drone was destroyed by the blast, or it was jammed in its final moments. But given the context of the previous 2 strikes and the nature of the target, the most logical conclusion is that the drone struck its target. The video feed shows the Lancet in a terminal dive, unshaken, unjammed, with the launcher filling the entire field of view. For it to have missed, the operator would have had to deliberately pull up at the last second, which the trajectory does not indicate. We are left with a scene of devastation. In a matter of minutes, the Rubicon unit claims to have neutralized 3 key components of a Patriot PAC-2 battery, 2 launchers, and the critical MPQ-53 radar. It represents a significant degradation of Ukraine's long-range air defense umbrella over the southern front. Each one of those launchers represented a $30 million asset. The radar, over $100 million. The debate over whether these were decoys will likely continue for months, fueled by incomplete information and the fog of war. But the visual evidence, the deep tire marks in the soil, the static deployment configuration of the PAC-2 system, and the clinical sequence of the strikes, paints a picture of a successful, if brutal, hunt. This operation was more than just a propaganda victory for Russia's drone forces. It was a demonstration of a new kind of warfare, where persistence beats speed, and where a $30,000 drone can, with patience and precision, dismantle a system designed to protect against ballistic missiles. The fields of Zaporozhye are vast, but for the operators of the Rubicon unit, they have become a hunting ground where even the mightiest shields are not safe from the watchful eye overhead. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to subscribe for more informative videos like this.